For years, for a decade or so, three young, beautiful women were held captive. They were held hostage. They were abused in every manner in which you can imagine. It is a colossal horror story. And today, they are free. I want to pause right there and tell you what we have lined up for you today. The person singularly most responsible, in my estimation, and many of those watching around the world, for helping them to be free as opposed to being held captive is a gentleman by the name of Charles Ramsey, who sits with us today, who will be our very first guest on the Rock Newman Show. In this first hour, we're going to go to Zareta Sambolin. Zareta is a CNN anchor for Early Start with CNN every morning. And she has been in Cleveland covering this horror story. So we will go to her. She'll be coming on by phone. And in the 10 o'clock hour, we are going to go to Dusty Harrison. Dusty Harrison is a local D.C. fighter who is going to be a world champion. He and his promoter, Jeff Freed, will be coming on. We'll be talking about Dusty's next fight. May the 18th, Saturday, May the 18th, at the University of the District of Columbia. This kid is going to not just be a champion, he is going to be a superstar. He's from Washington, D.C. He has enrolled at the University of the District of Columbia. He is fighting there next Saturday night. That is really an incredible D.C. story. We will have Dusty Harrison on and his lawyer, promoter, Jeff Freed. And we're going to break down last Saturday night's Mayweather-Guerrero fight from the economics. I want Jeff Freed in here to help break down those economics. You could continue to hear those astronomical numbers that are talked about, and we're going to go through them. Right at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock, we're going to have a gentleman on. It's a bit of a twist on the Rock Newman Show here. You know, I've said repeatedly that you know who our sponsors are. We have several now. And one of them is Pohanka, the Pohanka Group. And we have a gentleman coming on, and I'll let you hear his story. It's quite fascinating and heartwarming, and we're going to love to hear from him. Terry Williams will be our guest also. Terry Williams is a public relations specialist, publicist, and author. Her clients have included Eddie Murphy and really the elite of Hollywood. She is a spokesperson for the Malcolm X and Shabazz family. And, you know, there was a tragedy this week where the young man who actually set the house on fire that killed Betty Shabazz, the wife of Malcolm X. He was killed sometime this week, and so we'll have Terry on to talk about that. And in the last hour, we have the legend on, Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory will be calling in his daughter, Ayanna Gregory, who is a poet, a songstress, and an incredible talent. She has a one-woman play about the life and history of Dick Gregory and her life as his daughter, the family life and everything else. And I have cajoled Lillian Gregory, who never does anything with the media, to come on. She is the matriarch of the Gregory family and their big clan, and she has held it together so many years. So Lil is going to come on, and we have a little something special for Lil Gregory, being that tomorrow is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. Now let me go back and introduce this first guest here. I'm going to repeat. 10 years human beings were held in the worst conditions, the most abusive kind of situation that you could possibly imagine. Today, they are at home. They are free. They're with their families. They're with their loved ones. And our first guest played a role in them being free. We played that song by Sly and the Family Stones, Everyday People, because this gentleman has repeatedly said, basically, I'm just everyday people. He's never called himself a hero, but by his heroic acts, those around the world view him as a hero. And I was out and about with him last night in the streets of Washington, D.C. And I've got to tell you, the way I see people gravitate to this guy, they believe in their heart of hearts that he is a hero. They love this man. I love the fact that he came from Cleveland, Ohio, when he's got so many requests by so many organizations to be with them, whether that be Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, Chicago. But he came to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, to be on the Rock Newman Show. I couldn't be happier or more honored by his presence. Charles Ramsey, welcome to the Rock Newman Show.
Thanks, bro. How you doing?
Thank you so much for being here. Again, I know you could have been many other places. What I typically do with many of my guests is they are guests oftentimes because they have made a mark in the world. And people know them for basically the mark that they've made, their reputation, their accomplishment, or whatever it might be. But I really think, and I always like to give to my audience an opportunity to get to know the person, not just the portrayal of who that person is. And so to that end, I'd like to just be very basic and kind of start at the beginning. Childhood, where are you born? Where are you from? Where you grow up?
I was born in Alabama, but that only lasted about a year and a half. Then we moved up to Ohio. And I've been in Cleveland ever since.
Since I was a student at Howard University, for some reason I've always kind of loved Southern accents. And you were born in Alabama, and you left there at 2 years old and went to Cleveland. But I still detect a little Southern twang there.
I can't get it out of me.
Okay, so in really going to the beginning, one of the things I'd like to ask you was, if you quickly search your mind, as a child, what's your earliest memory? Good, bad, ugly, pretty, whatever it might be. What's your earliest memory from childhood?
Earliest memory. Oh yeah, it's a good one. I was around 11 or 12, around there, and it was about December 21st. So I'm getting what I'm saying is it was around Christmas. So I was one of them kids that would hurry up and when school let out and run home and just tear the house up trying to find the presents, right? Okay, my father knew what I was doing. He had a trick for me this year. I didn't go home no day and see nothing. Well, on the 25th of Christmas, still wasn't nothing there. And I got everything on the 26th. So your daddy was a practical joker.
Do you think you might have gotten some of your incredible sense of humor from that practical joker papa of yours?
What kind of games you playing with a child, man?
Was your heart broken?
I'm traumatized.
Still?
Still. They weren't the right presents.
Even when you got them?
Even when I got them.
Do you remember what you got?
Bicycle, a computer, a calculator, a couple encyclopedias, a couple dictionaries, a few thesauruses. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
He was like, damn the video games, boy.
Yeah.
Stop being stupid.
Yeah, my granddaughter that you just heard on as we were being introduced here, man, we just got her all these fabulous gifts and things of which she could learn, and she was getting more and more and more frustrated, and she finally got something else that was something for educational purposes when she was 6 years old, and she said, where are the toys?
Where are the toys? Exactly.